Okay, let's talk about one of the coolest ideas humanity has ever come up with: time travel. We're going to take a journey and see how this whole concept went from a simple, almost magical idea to the super complex, paradox filled stories that we all know and love today. No, really. Take a second. What's the very first image that just popped into your head? Just hold on to that thought because I'm willing to bet it's something mechanical, something scientific. Right? Maybe you're picturing a DeLorean hitting 88 miles per hour, leaving those fiery tire tracks behind. Or maybe it's that iconic blue police box just appearing out of nowhere. These images have pretty much defined time travel for generations of us. Yep, you heard that right. Before all the flashing lights and the flux capacitors and complicated gadgets, the very first way people imagined traveling to the future was just falling asleep for a very, very long time. And that's our first stop. We're going way back, to a time before science fiction, when zipping into the future wasn't something you chose to do, it was something that just happened to you. And this comparison really lays it all out. The old way was totally passive. It was this magical, uncontrollable sleep. The new way? It's all about action. It's about building a machine, grabbing the controls, and taking charge of time itself. I mean, look at these classic stories. You've got Rip Van Winkle, who takes a nap for 20 years and completely misses the American Revolution. Then there's the story of Al-Alkaf, where they sleep for centuries. The key thing here in both of these stories is that they were passengers, not pilots. They had absolutely zero control over what was happening. So who flipped that switch? Who decided to put us in the driver's seat of time? Well, that would be one man and one incredibly important book. This timeline just says it all, doesn't it? Before 1895, time travel in stories was all about magic and mystery. Then, H.G. Wells drops The Time Machine, and boom, suddenly time travel becomes a field of engineering. And this was the huge revolution. Wells gave us this idea of a machine with levers and dials, a vehicle you could actually use to navigate the fourth dimension on purpose. He single-handedly turned time travel from this weird fate you couldn't avoid into a deliberate scientific adventure. And you know, once an idea that big is out in the world, it's like a dam breaking. Writers, filmmakers, everyone just grabbed this concept of a controllable time machine and ran with it. It caused an absolute explosion of creativity. In books, you saw authors start to explore all the messy human stuff, like the tangled-up romance in The Time Traveler's Wife, or the absolutely mind-bending paradoxes you get in The Man Who Folded Himself. And on screen, oh man, it became a full-blown blockbuster. You have tons of movies based on Wells's original book. You have a certain doctor's adventures across all of time and space. The time machine itself became the star of the show. But hey, the evolution didn't stop with just the machine. Even after that became the standard, storytellers started asking, okay, but what if there are other ways? What if you don't actually need a machine at all? First, the machine itself got a major glow up. Wells's original machine, it was basically this fancy-looking chair. But pop culture made it sleek, made it exciting, made it iconic. A DeLorean that just screams adventure. And then things got really interesting because the whole idea kind of circled back on itself. It started as magic, then it became science, and then storytellers brought magic back with things like the Time Turner and Harry Potter. And from there, it evolved again into just an ability, a superpower, like the Flash running so fast he literally shatters the rules of time. Okay, but with all this incredible power comes a whole lot of risk. This new, controllable time travel created a massive new problem. What happens if you go back and change something? And that gets us to the core danger, what we call the butterfly effect. The idea is really simple, but honestly, it's terrifying. You step on a bug millions of years ago, and you could come back to a present that you don't even recognize. We see this play out perfectly in Back to the Future, right? All Marty did was accidentally bump into his dad and mess up his parents' first meeting. It was such a tiny change, and it almost completely wiped him and his siblings from reality. It's a great reminder that messing with time isn't just a fun ride. It is incredibly dangerous. And that really brings us to the moral that sits at the heart of so many of these stories. After all the thrilling chases and close calls, the main lesson is almost always a warning. Time travel teaches us that the past is fragile, and it's something to be respected. So I'll leave you with this. What do you think? If you had that kind of power, would you risk everything to change just one small thing in the past? Or is that a door that's meant to stay closed forever? It's the kind of question these stories leave us thinking about, long after the credits have rolled.